All right, let's go. I hope you all had a great holiday weekend, but just remember, whatever you did,
cocaine, bad bitches, and alcohol is way cooler.
So it doesn't matter if you celebrate Independence Day or if you're one of those people who prefers Depends Day, whether you popped open bottles like this or made several trips to the minibar. Hopefully you were one of the lucky few that got to see fireworks over Jimmy Kimmel's house. Or maybe you took down more wieners than Joey Chestnut. I hope you were out there flying your flags high and not crying like a little bitch. Because it's hard not to have a good time on 4th of July weekend, as long as you don't forget your favorite dessert, the fact that this guy controls 90% of your wealth, and that
America is the greatest place on earth.
So we got a lot to get to today. Sometimes it feels like the harder I try to stay up to date, the less informed I really am. But let's start off with what we know for sure. We know that this guy is black, this lady is a Native American, we know that this is a woman, and this guy is sharp as a tack. We know that this is what Satan and his daughter look like. We know that this is how you stay hydrated during the intense summer heat, and that Sandy Cortez is a Bronx girl. We know that Michelle Obama's rookie card is worth a lot of money, and that even after you fight through all the woke bullshit, the final boss is still very scary. Even when we look at the new Elon Musk America party, there's not much info available. We do know that recruiting has started. It seems like their new slogan is already set. We know that Mark Cuban is eager to join, and that these are the founding fathers.
Who's coming, man? Who's coming with me?
Elon's been saying that he would like to fight you in the octagon at the White House. What is your response to Elon Musk, Mr. Secretary?
Well, my response to Elon Musk is really simple. He better chill the fuck out before he gets knocked the fuck down again. If he wants another black eye like the last one I gave him, tell him to holla at Scotty B.
And check this out, XRP rockets against Bitcoin, but the real Golden Cross move may just be starting. This article tells us that XRP is outperforming Bitcoin, with the price surging ahead of a potential Golden Cross, where the 23-day moving average nears crossing above the 50-day moving average. Currently, XRP is trading at 0.0000215 BTC, but XRP is starting to show some strong momentum with the Relative Strength Index, or RSI, above the 60 level. If we look here, the next key level is the 200-day moving average at 0.0000246 BTC, which could signal a major trend shift if XRP is able to surpass this level. The House of Representatives has designated July 14th to the 18th as Crypto Week. And here is French Hill, chair of the House Financial Services Committee, talking about what we can expect next.
Right now, digital assets, cryptocurrency, and everything related to using financial payments on a blockchain is basically not regulated, not clear to consumers, investors, entrepreneurs how to use it, how to avoid federal prosecution. So in 2 weeks, we'll bring to the House floor the Clarity Act, which gives the rules of the road of how to invest in digital assets, how to trade them, how you can be a broker, and the market framework for digital assets. And we'll also bring to the House floor dollar-backed payment stablecoins, which we believe those two things will advance America's power around the world in financial services.
And this is pretty interesting. Here's how much XRP you need to be a top 10% holder. This article says that as of today, an XRP wallet must hold at least 2,486 XRP to rank among the top 10% of all XRP wallets globally. Meanwhile, to enter the top 1%, a wallet must hold a minimum of 50,637 XRP, and only 663 wallets globally hold more than 5 million XRP, placing them in the top 0.01 of all wallets. All right, let's take a look at some of the other top headlines. The FBI and the DOJ have released part 2 of the Epstein files, and it looks like this.
Investigators say they found no incriminating client list of Epstein's, no credible evidence that Epstein blackmailed prominent individuals, and no evidence that could predicate an investigation against uncharged third parties.
And that's a very different story than what Attorney General Pam Bondi told us just a few months ago.
The DOJ may be releasing the list of Jeffrey Epstein's clients? Will that really happen? It's sitting on my desk right now to review. That's been a directive by President Trump. I'm reviewing that. I'm reviewing JFK files, MLK files. That's all in the process of being reviewed because that was done at the directive of the president from all of these agencies.
Spam. Spam. Spam.
At this point, speculations are running wild. Is this because Epstein and Trump were so-called best friends, or did the guy just have a weird obsession with unique art? We may never know. By now, we are all aware of the tragic flooding in Texas that has claimed so many lives. And while some heroes have emerged, like Coast Guard Scott Ruskin, who saved 165 people, unfortunately, others are using this opportunity to flaunt their level 11 out of 10 TDS illness.
And you know, when the president guts all of the early warning systems and the weathering forecast abilities of the government, these are the results that we're going to start to see on a daily basis because he's put this country in so much danger by his horrible, horrible decisions and this ridiculously immoral bill that he just signed into law. As Republicans cheered, people will die as a result, and they've started already. Shame on him. Shame on every GOP sycophant who's listening and following the disastrous decisions of this mentally incapacitated POTUS.
You've called women you don't like fat pigs, dogs, slobs, and disgusting animals. Your Twitter account...
Only Rosie O'Donnell.
We also saw over the weekend that President Trump signed what he calls the big, beautiful bill into law. And whether you support the bill or not, it's always surprising to see the faux outrage from people who haven't even read it.
You don't understand how many people's lives that's gonna affect. And I'm so blessed. Like, I literally just went to the grocery store today. I bought local honey. I bought cold brew. And I bought almond milk, and it was $40. And I could pay for that for no problem. And that's just for my morning coffee. For 3 things. I can't imagine. People aren't even going to be able to afford to eat.
I'm sure you've seen and heard a lot of the concern, including and especially from Republicans who are the most vocal in Congress, about the fact that those work requirements are going to be very cumbersome to actually prove, and it will inevitably force the people who need that Medicaid coverage off the rolls.
Well, first of all, the Republicans are not the most vocal on this. It is a group of Democrats who unfortunately seem to think that poor people are stupid. I don't think poor people are stupid. I think they have agency, and I think to have them register twice a year for these benefits, that it is not a burden. But these people who want to infantilize the poor and those who need these Medicaid benefits are alarmist.
Yeah, but my impression of the Republican Party is that historically you've wanted to cut through the red tape and not create more red tape. But I do want to move on because...
Well, no. But we've also wanted to put in work requirements, which somehow that was very popular under Bill Clinton, was popular under President Obama, and this Democratic Party blew out the deficit in 2020.
And it turns out that Scotty B is actually telling the truth.
Work is the meaning of what this country is all about. We need it as individuals. We need to sense it in our fellow citizens. And we need it as a society and as a people. From now on, our nation's answer to this great social challenge will no longer be a never-ending cycle of welfare. It will be the dignity, the power, and the ethic of work. Today, we are taking an historic chance to make welfare what it was meant to be, a second chance, not a way of life. This bill will help people to go to work so they can stop drawing a welfare check and start drawing a paycheck. It is now clearly better to go to work than to stay on welfare. Clearly better. Because of actions taken by the Congress in this session, it is clearly better to end the terrible, almost physical isolation of huge numbers of poor people and their children from the rest of mainstream America. We have to do that.
Best anti-poverty program is a job. which confers not just income, but structure and dignity.
It's nice to see that with everything going on, the Biden family was still able to spend some relaxing time on the beach in Malibu. 8 dormant Satoshi-era Bitcoin wallets reactivated after 14 years, moving a total of $8.6 billion in BTC. Despite this movement, Bitcoin recorded its highest weekly close in history. Shockingly, not even a protester dressed as Darth Vader could keep Joey Chestnut from his hot dogs. And Kevin O'Leary tells us what New York City will be like under Mamdani.
And what he's been doing, running around the streets of New York saying, free taxis, free subway, free buses for you, free everything. And of course, if you don't understand what that means long term, you might vote for him. They certainly are proposing that. And so this is a classic case of reading Atlas Shrugged. I got my kids reading it, and they're freaking out reading that thing, because that's exactly what it's proposing. You can't do this in an environment where there's competition of other states. The money just leaves. The tax base leaves. The capital leaves. The developer leaves. The risk capital leaves. And you're left with a collapsing environment. New York City is going, it's a horrible message for the American dream. This guy is turning New York into the American nightmare. The money comes in, it flies right over New York City, and it lands somewhere else.
President Trump says new trade deals have been made and will raise tariffs on other countries by August 1st. And as we come off the 4th of July holiday weekend, do you ever wonder why there are no Democrats on Mount Rushmore? Neither do I. So you know I'll be watching, and I'll keep you updated with any new information. Remember that the definition of liberalism is when you hate white males so much that you actually want to look like one. Always do your best to seek out the truth at all costs. If our government was a joint, it would look just like this. To the guy who's always talking shit down in the comments section, let me just say, I was really sorry to hear about your mom's skydiving accident. And if you're in a situation where you need to use a gender-neutral bathroom, just make sure you take the biggest she/it of your life.
You might not like the truth, but I'll never tell a lie. The LGB community needs a divorce from the TQ+. Not a separation, not a break, a full-blown, court-stamped, assets divided, move out by Friday, divorce.
Now that's what I voted for. Volume 47 with songs such as
Can't jump this. Can't jump this.
There's a track for everyone.
No place wherein sit down and don't cry too hard.
Down off the spawn, made to off the land. Always red, white, blue.
And I guess that's why they call it fake news. Now, that's what I voted for. Volume 47. Available now.
And if you have a couple more minutes, you may have missed my last video about the golden age of XRP. Until the next time, be safe.